Hey guys, it's Ariel. So today I'm going to be going through all of the books that I have read so far in the year since we are 6 months in. This is going to be kind of a short book. I'm not going to be explaining the books or anything. I'm just going to show you guys the books I've read and show you guys what I rated them. Now, I've read 22 books so far and I'll show you guys. Seriously. As you can tell, I swear I'm not from the country. I don't know why I said it like that. I love to tab. These are all the books that I have. Let me put them down before I actually hurt myself. So the first book I read this year, I was kind of out of reading until this year. So I went to Barnes & Noble and was looking at some books. And this cover really stood out to me. So the first book I read this year was Freshman by Tom Ellen and Lucy Iveson. Sorry if I'm looking over here. I have the author's names on there so I can let you guys know because I don't want to like flip it, you know. But I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, so I kind of figured it wouldn't be that great considering I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But yeah, it was okay. Next book I read was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and let me tell you, I love this book. It's one of my favorite books of the year. Childhood friends to lovers, my favorite trope, so you knew I was going to be obsessed with this. You can obviously tell. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Next was Archer's Voice. I absolutely love this book also, so I was on a roll with the good books. But I am a literal simp for Archer Hale. He's literally so sweet. I love him to death. But I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Next was Next was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. This book was really good. I really enjoyed all the plot twists and things. Colleen Hoover is an absolute queen and I'm obsessed with her. So I'm trying to read all of her books this year, and that I read It Ends With Us and Ugly Love last year, I think. So I'm trying to get through the rest of her books this year. I gave November 9 a 5 out of 5 stars. Next is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Obviously you can tell I was on a Colleen Hoover kick, and literally look at this cover, literally my favorite cover. It feels so good. Oh, you guys have to get this book just for the cover alone, but it was a really, really good story. I love the, like, mom trope, if that makes sense, and stuff. I don't know, it was so sweet. I loved it so much. This was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. Next is The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout, I don't know how to say that, but I absolutely love this cover. I love that it's white and then pops of color. I love that. Obviously I got this book for the cover, and you can tell because I wasn't obsessed with this book. I was kind of bored, to be honest. So, in result, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I really love this book. It was by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's a really, really good author. I'm obsessed with her. I also read Malibu Rising later on in the year, but yeah, this is a really good book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Now the next book I read was The Silent Patient. I don't have this book with me. My mom has it because this book was so good. Like one of my favorites I've read so far. The twist at the end, I just had to give it to my mom. Like, I didn't waste a second. So obviously I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Next was The Kiss Quotient by Helena Long. Absolutely love this book. One of my favorites also. And literally Michael, I will literally sell my soul for him. Okay. I loved him so much. I gave this book a 5 out of 5. Yeah, go read this please. Like, you will not regret it. And on a not so happy note, I read In 5 Years. I did not like this book at all. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think this was this and another book I read. I obviously have no words. The plot on the back is so different from what it was actually about. I don't know. I thought it would go completely different, and I just ended up being bored and like disappointed. So I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I do not recommend this. Read The Deal and the Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I absolutely love this series. I want to finish the series soon. I don't have the books yet, so I'm trying to wait until I get paid so my card doesn't yell at me anymore. But these were so good. I preferred The Deal over The Mistake, but this is about a group of friends and they all have different like love interests. I definitely recommend it. It was so good. I cannot wait to finish this series. And I gave them both 5 out of 5 stars. Next was Emily Henry's new release, which was Book Lovers. I really liked this book. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, but it was still a really good book. I highly recommend it. I was super excited for it because it was her new release. I was also moving in the middle of this, like helping somebody move, so I was listening to it as I was helping them. So yeah, it was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now we're getting into the books that I read for my summer reading vlog. The first book was People We Meet on Vacation. I absolutely love this cover, it's so cool. And then I realized that it was Friends to Lovers, so you know I had to read this book. And then I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is really good. I enjoyed this also. This also won my cover competition or whatever I had with myself because I absolutely love this cover. And then I read Malibu Rising. I was obsessed with this book. This is about a family and I love the family dynamic in this book. Highly recommend this book. This is my favorite book out of the 3 of these, so yeah, go read it. I gave People We Meet on Vacation 3 out of 5 stars. Wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I thought the hype kind of hyped it up a little bit more. This is an unpopular opinion. I think Emily Henry is a really good author, but she's definitely not one of my favorites. I just think her writing style is good. It just doesn't hook me. And then I gave The Unhoneymooners 5 out of 5 stars. Christina Lauren owns my heart. And then I gave Malibu Rising 5 out of 5 stars. Such a good story. Then I read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This is a new author and this is her first book, I believe. My favorite. Yeah, I think this is my favorite book I've read so far this year. Absolutely amazing. Please go read it. Like, don't even have a second thought about this book. It is so good. It's Friends to Lovers, based in the summertime. It's so good. Literally a 5 out of 5 stars. Did you think I was gonna give it anything else? I don't think so. Then I read You've Reached Sam by Dustin Theo. It was really sad. It kind of brought me down a lot, but the cover was beautiful and it was a good story. I just don't think I was in the mood for it, to be honest, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next was Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I've had this on my TBR shelf for a very long time, like 3 years long. I got this during COVID time because it's about a quarantine. I read it, did not like it. I didn't think I would like it. This just isn't the type of books I read. Yeah, so I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Doesn't mean it's not a good book. It was still a good book. It's just not my type of book I like to read. It's kind of like fantasy, and that's just not my thing. The last 2 books I've read this year is The Spanish Love Deception and Layla by Colleen Hoover. But this book, so good. The slow burn is slow, so if you don't like slow burn, don't read this book, but the spice is so good. I did think a lot of people said this was a lot longer than it had to be. I agree, there was a lot of details that didn't really have to be there, but I still really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Layla by Colleen Hoover. This is super good. The plot twist is amazing. Again, she's really good at plot twists. This is more of like not thriller, but like supernatural, like ghost identity, like type thing. And she doesn't really write a lot of that, but the way she wrote this is super good. So I want to read Verity at some point. because I love the way she wrote this, but I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend it. It was a really good story. That's all the books I've read so far this year. It was a really good reading year so far, and I'm really excited to read more books. I'm obviously in a reading kick right now, and I hope I stay on this because I'm super excited for what I'm going to read in the future. I hope you guys like this. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, loves!